But them know about pain. Life hard but I can't complain. The past left for my brain like stain. Won't lip up bad choices so I can't change. I start talk to myself like every day. Them I swear some I gone insane. But the chat them feel like therapy. Dark of the thoughts so they in my brain. Right now I need your help, oh Father, Father. Can't do this by myself, oh Father, Father. Yeah, and every day me I fight my thoughts. When me feel for murder, the whole of them lads. I need your strength, oh Father, Father. Yeah, right now I feel like I'm trapped in a basement. Dark room and the walls, them a caving. But one move, but me not get no space when I try. Don't know why. Them see me stuck and them not if it help me. Nah give up, but them calling me lazy. Nah give up, though them calling me crazy. I try. Oh, yeah, right now me need your help, oh Father, Father. Can't do this by myself, oh Father, Father, Father. Every day me I find my thoughts. Me feel like for murder, the whole of them lads. Need your strength, oh Father, Father. Need your help, oh Father. Right now, me need your help, oh Father. Can't do this by myself, oh Father, Father. From the islands, from the east to the west side, that's my land. The secret was my home. So that's my home. So when we been a suffer, nobody not been a fight for we. Now everybody want a piece, oh. We started reach the sin, well, and where before them bring exam to find a help for we. We know how that full up their minds, you see. And now that make them a rival way. Me just wish them could have seen all of the years they been a suffer like that. Me say forever, forever and ever. A secret boy my own, a secret boy my own. From the islands and rivers and mountains surrounding, the love in my heart is resounding. I'm loving Guyana, my country, but the secret boy is forever my own. Remember childhood days, the by the riverside and laugh and play. The black water when I learned to swim back then, still living in my memories. Always try live good with neighbors. From them cry we have for assistance. And when we didn't have much, everybody liked us. That's why we don't believe that. When we see it on the media, yo, them coulda tried claim peace in my land. When me never see none of them when struggle me not go on. Yo, a kind of leader. Fight down poor people for land where them grow up on. Most generous people in the world. From anyone knock we are open windows. But forever, forever and ever, secret boy is my own. A secret boy is my own, yeah. From the islands and rivers and mountains surrounding, the love in my heart is resounding. I'm loving Guyana, my country, but a secret boy is forever my own. Forever my own. A secret boy is my own. Secret boy is my own, yeah. So forever, forever, forever. A secret boy is forever my own. From the islands, from the east to the west side, that's my land. The secret was my home. So that I'm my home. So when me been a suffer, nobody not been a fight for we. Now everybody want a piece, so we start to reach the sinful and where before them bring exam to find a help for we. We know how that fill up their minds, you see. And now that make them a rival way. Me just wish them could have seen all of the years they been a suffer like that. Me say forever, forever and ever. A secret boy my own, a secret boy my own. From the islands and rivers and mountains surrounding, the love in my heart is resounding. I'm loving Guyana, my country, but a secret boy is forever my own. Remember childhood days, the by the riverside and laugh and play. The black water when I learned to swim back then, still living in my memories. Always try live good with neighbors. From them cry we are for assistance. And when we didn't have much, everybody liked us. That's why I don't believe that. When I see it on the media, yo, them coulda tried claim peace in my land. When I never see none of them when struggle me not go on. Yo, a kind of leader. Fight down poor people for land where them grow up on. Most generous people in the world. From anyone knocked we are open with doors. But forever, forever and ever, a secret boy is my own. A secret boy is my own, yeah. From the islands and rivers and mountains surrounding, the love in my heart is resounding. I'm loving Guyana, my country, but a secret boy is forever my own. Forever my own. A secret boy is my own. Secret boy is my own, yeah. So forever, forever, forever. A secret boy is forever my own.
This is Quincy Anderson. You know I love my country. There's no other country better than mine. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil too. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. Hey.
Alex.
Panic and every day's another episode. And to it all, we have to hold on. Face the fears and fight no matter how long. Solid, chatty with every load. Don't panic and every day's another episode. And to it all, we have to hold on. Face the fears and fight no matter how long. The fight only finish with the weak ones. So when that you call you, watch how you respond. Dark face your fears, fight your demons. Firm, we go to a jubilation. He is a heavy load, still a chadana. Have a legacy fi build, so me fi carry on. And the dark days brave, fi go to the storm. Now give up none time, cause that's how we born. Solid, another episode. And to be all, we have to hold on. Face your fears and fight no matter how long. Solid. Johnny with every Lord, don't panic, cause every day's another episode. And to be all, we have to hold on.
Solid, me solid, just like a rock. Spiritually we fight a lot. They trap them, said ya cancel that. You just can't stop me, not try do that. Got to be careful of negligence. Move wise, use up your intelligence. Guard of honor like the presidents. Progress and its evidence. Me no care how much time they want turn me down. Things say me woulda tumble down. Chant to me ancestors big Congo drum. That's why me know me have to overcome. Stand firm and not lean for no one. You can set up your own program. Have the whole world a sing out the slogan. No time in a slow down. Plus, we
solid. Johnny with every Lord, don't panic, cause every day's another episode. And to be all, we have to hold on. Face your fears and fight no matter how long. Solid. Johnny with every Lord, don't panic, cause every day's another episode. And to be all, we have to hold on. Face your fears and fight no matter how long.
With Courdel Jones, you know it's gonna be real from 8 to 9, bringing vibes you can feel. News, views, and what's hot today will keep you wired in every way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Up the day is bright, time to feel the flow. Turn your dial to Livewire, we're ready to go. With Courdel Jones, you know it's gonna be real. From 8 to 9, from 8 to 9, bringing vibes you can feel. News, views, and what's hot today will keep you wired in every way. We'll keep you wired every way, in every way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Stories that matter, we got the scoop. From the latest headlines to the local truth. It's your community, your voice, your power. Livewire hits you every hour. So grab your coffee, your tea, your toast. With Courdel Jones, we'll give you the most. Livewire, we'll give you the way. To the energy, the beat of the street, the show that connects is where people meet. We're wired to your world, we got the news. On Livewire, there's nothing to lose. Livewire, turn and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Oh, oh, oh. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way. Stories that matter, we got the scoop. From the latest headlines to the local truth. It's your community, your voice, your power. Livewire hits you every hour. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. It's your community, your voice, your power. Livewire hits you every hour. Wake up, the day is bright, and I feel the flow. Turn your dial for your vibe, we're ready to go. With Courdel Jones, you know it's gonna be real. From 8 to 9, bringing vibes you can feel. News, views, and what's hot today will keep you wired in every way. Livewire, tune in and feel the spark. Every morning, lighting up your heart. Courdel's here, bringing life to your day. Monday to Friday, we're paving the way.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Livewire. It's the 21st of February, 2025. Good morning to all the persons joining us across the diaspora. Good morning to all the persons joining us across the 10 administrative regions. And special good morning to all the persons joining us in the comment section. Thank you guys for being here yet again. I do apologize for not being here yesterday. I do apologize for not being here yesterday. Some unforeseen circumstances. However, we're here again today, and we shall continue. So, Farida Ferguson, good morning to you. Generine Narendra, morning to you. Shridat Rabindranath, good morning to you, joining us from Enmore. Vishnu Chintaman, good morning to you. Anthony Wong joining us from France. Morning to Pam and Trevor. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. Betty Chris, morning to you. Richard Stanislaus, Wazim Nabi. Faisal Ghani, good morning to you. Rajendra Singh, morning to you. Soma Bipat. Estelle Ramnath, joining us from Canada. Leslie Mangal, good morning to you. Leroy Mangal, good morning to you as well. Bisundat Mohan, morning. Alan Khan, Mohammed Isaf, Prasad Pati joining us from Kitty. Ormela Gusai. Prasad Pati, you got through with the stuff at, I think, the National Park? Let me know in the comments, right? Who else we got here? Joseph Satar, good morning to you. Dial Sukram, special good morning to Dial Sukram. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I guess you're transitioning between jobs, and that's another thing I find Guyanese don't understand. Anywhere you go, you have to make an extra effort to make it. So when I saw a post from Melly Mel talking to, speaking towards joint services minimum wage being taken to 130,000 or something like that, and talking about people can't survive. All over the world, people got multiple jobs. What pride back us on this live by? I wish they'd stop flagging me for this music I playing for y'all, sir. On a serious note, Lola Harry, morning to you. Kiran, morning to you as well. Ramesh Prasad, morning to you. Ramnarayan Singh, morning to you. Maureen Razio, good morning. Pershram Kishore, Chitra Sukraj, Philip Diabru, good morning to you guys. Thank you guys for continuing to stay with Livewire. Christopher Prasad, Sunil Raghubir, good morning to you. All people joining us from Linden. Morning to all of you. Michael Danis, Sunita Sukraj, good morning. Jasoda Sargent, Prem Prashad, Linden Alfonso, morning to you. Joan Abidjan joining us from Canada, as always. Cecil Rampasad, good morning. Good morning. Salome, good morning. Good morning. Ronald Shifdial, morning to you. Special good morning to the Director General on the live, Imam Asif Williams, morning to you. Sally Jones, morning to you as well. Let's get into it. So as you guys know, yesterday, the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, would have had his press conference, and he would have touched on a wide range of topics that are impacting Guyana today. One of the first ones he spoke on was the oil and gas conference and its success, or how successful the 2025 oil and gas conference was this year. Now, this is the largest conference in Guyana's history, the largest oil and gas conference in Guyana's history, with over 1,600 participants from over 60 countries. Now, there's a strong focus on economic diversification beyond oil and gas. And I must say, aside from the press conference, we have seen the Irfan Ali-led administration, whilst taking the time to explore and ensure Guyanese benefit from Guyana's oil and gas resources, there's also a heavy emphasis on the traditional sectors, agriculture, mining, lumber, and those kinds of things, to ensure that there is longevity and continuity, and there's not this wholly and solely reliance on the oil and gas sector, which fluctuates with prices, as we all would know. He did also make us aware of the AI and financial technology companies and their interest in terms of investing in Guyana. And this can only augur well for the future for us. This will help to create employment for young Guyanese coming out of the tertiary education institutions that have now been officially made free under this Irfaan Ali administration. We also learned yesterday that the African Exim Bank is offering 1 billion US to local businesses to help advance, diversify, expand their businesses as well. He went on to talk about economic diversification and growth, and he made mention of the need for a diversified economy before oil and gas resources decline. Now, strong investment interest has been placed in the non-oil sector, with more international companies and even local companies investing in the traditional sectors, whilst we have seen an increase in terms of persons and businesses, companies wanting to invest in the oil and gas sector. Now, there is a need for more sophisticated financial services in Guyana, and the government has systems in place to advance the advancement of these financial services. There's also plans to digitize banking for greater financial inclusion. Now, he went on to talk about the gas energy project and give some updates. He did say that delays may be possible until 2026. Now, again, while some persons might want to hold on to the fact that the project will go over the specified end date, again, I'm saying this project is on its way. It will be completed, and the vice president and general secretary reiterated this as well, and it will be completed despite whatever issues or things that may need to be sorted out in relation to the government and the contractor currently, right? Now, the government is considering arbitration versus negotiation on the contract disputes. So hopefully this process will deal with all the issues that the contractor may be experiencing, and also ensure that Guyanese get a reliable source of power so that our blackout issues aren't as bad as they used to be in the past. Now, he placed some emphasis on not rushing the project at the expense of national interest, right? Now, these kinds of projects, you'd want to make sure that everything is done to a certain standard, and also the contractor fulfills its obligations to the government and the Guyanese people, right? Despite the noise you hear from the opposition about the project being delayed and things like that, I maintain there is no project of this magnitude that we could compare it to during any time that they were in office. And not because you hear a lot of noise from certain quarters, you are going to basically run around like a chicken with your head cut off. You understand? We have seen steady, sure, and true leadership from this Irfaan Ali-led administration and previous PBPC administrations. So as a Guyanese who is in line to benefit as well, even if the project is completed in 2026, I understand that the government has a long-term vision and a big picture vision in relation to alleviating the power issues faced by Guyanese today, right? We also heard about the potential of a second gas-to-energy plant, and I'm sure we'll hear about more on that in the future. Now, he went on to talk about energy security and fuel prices. Now, Guyana is exploring refining its own crude oil and importing refined products. Now, if this comes to fruition, the ability to refine our own crude oil and produce all the after products, that can only augur well for Guyana. Could you imagine Guyana selling Guyanese gas and how cheap that would be? Right? Now, there is a plan to also expand fuel storage capacity for long-term energy security. And we've seen a lot of investment with GPL and to ensure that they're able to do what they have to do. Again, I say to some of you here in Guyana, maybe some of y'all need to report some of them people stealing lights, because at the end of the day, you who are paying your light bill suffering because they got a bunch of other people on the grid who aren't paying anything and overloading the system. You understand? So that's something we need to remember, that cause and effect. You may not want to snitch, as the urban term used, but your non-snitching has an effect on you. So again, I say to you, if GPL looks at all its customers across the country and says, okay, we need 400 kilowatts based on all our customers that we have on record here, right? So they procure and set up to provide 400 kilowatts. Then you have another 50 kilowatts of persons who have illegal connections. How is the system supposed to work if it's made for 400, but 450 on the system, or 500 kilowatts being pulled from the system due to the addition of persons who don't have a proper legitimate GPL connection? So whilst I understand persons' frustration with the Guyana Power and Light Corporation, I want persons to understand that it's not wholly and solely on GPL. Hi, Vishal. Morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Not too bad.
Well, I think the past few weeks we had a lot of contentious sentiments on social media, man.
You know, Facebook does go.
Describing Afro-Guyanese in this derogatory manner. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, this man lives in a cocoon. He expect, right? So because I'm an Afro-Guyanese, and according to him, I'm supposed to pledge allegiance to a party that purportedly or supposedly perpetuate the representation of me and my fellow Afro-Guyanese brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. For 23 years, the accusation against the PVPC government that they were more sympathetic to Indo-Guyanese interests. Okay. I don't see it like that. Even though throughout that 23 years, I did not subscribe to the PVPC narrative. But what I could recollect, based on my honest opinion and more so observation throughout that previous 23 years, right, is that I saw an upward mobility of Afro-Guyanese. Not in a few numbers, but in the thousands, especially with the housing program.
Right.
When Mr. Javio, while he was president, he had a meeting with the banks in Guyana. This is why you see a lot of persons start accessing loans. You understand? Because in 1992, it was very difficult to access a loan at the bank, if you understand what I mean. Right? By 2009, a lot of Afro-Guyanese owned their own home, established their own business. You understand?
Right.
Grow from the lower class into the middle class and even to the upper class. They have Afro-Guyanese bringing in their own excavator. They don't need to go through a dealer. They just order the stuff and it arrives for them. I'm telling you, I'm a custom broker. I ain't selling you dreams, brother.
Right.
This is a figment of the imagination. This is things that I observe and analyze. You understand? These are real, living data. If you understand what I mean.
I get you.
Because in 2002, when I started working at the Waffles Jones, I started as a porter, I get subjects, brother, but I wasn't getting a job. I was so desperate for a job, I accepted the porter portfolio. Right. And I worked with that company from 2002, Christmas, to the first quarter of 2004. However, in 2002, the last day in 2002, I started learning the basic from those barrel entry. Is back in the days when everything was manual, you had to handwritten everything. If you ain't got a typewriter. And I learned it from there. And I built my clientele. And the first quarter of 2004, I started off with 2 clients. At that time, most of the importers in this country were Indo-Guyanese and foreign investors. Right? Like those Indian nationals and stuff. Chinese. Well, Chinese now start coming in on the market. Most of them people on the region street used to be Indian nationals. Right? Not Guyanese Indian nationals. However, during those times, when you see Afro-Guyanese come on the wharf, brother, is it he migrate and he bring any vehicles, or he bring in 2 vehicles or whatever. Them time it's not the year limit on CC. It's not CC limit. You're going to bring in any CC, any amount of CC, and you get it totally, you get it free, duty-free, and the time was consumption tax. Right? The value-added tax replaced the consumption tax in 2007 at 16%. The time it used to be 30%, something like 45, 30, and 30%. The taxes was very high. So most of the time when they give you a duty-free, when they give you an exemption, you pay 5% of the CIF value. So if the vehicle is 10 years old, they depreciate the vehicle and the 5% is based on the depreciated value. Right? When the government came into power in 2015, they sold off Afro-Guyanese. They wanted people to come back and invest, but they put a limit on the CC. So you can't bring in a vehicle above 2500 CC as a remigrant. If you understand what I mean. If you bring in a vehicle above 25, you got to pay the difference. That is what the coalition government did. Right? And that did not benefit Afro-Guyanese more so. You see those 1800 CC vehicles? You used to pay like 1.6 million in 2006, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 around the area. It depends on the value of the vehicle, right? When the coalition government came into power, you know how much for clear 1800 CC vehicle? $2 million or something, it depends on the value.
Wow.
Those are the remnants of the coalition government policy, right? They're talking about zero rated. Most of the stuff, like for instance, computer, is totally free. Excavators, totally free. Right? All the capital equipment was totally free under the PPPC. The coalition government imposed 14% VAT, not 5% duty, 14% VAT. So if you bring in an excavator at 20 million, there's 100,000 US, right? At 200 to 1, 20 million, right? Multiplied by 14%. So your taxes is $2.8 million on one equipment that value 20 million. It's 100,000 US. Right? And they have different brand of equipment, if you understand what I mean. Will give you different, or would give you a more increase in terms of workload. Right? Sometimes you buy an excavator, they got a big excavator for 60,000 euros. So you paying 14% on top. And the PPPC, it was totally free. And every year, the PPPC government or the GRA, under the tenureship of the PPPC government, recorded more revenue than they projected to collect. Especially in 2007, when they brought in, they implemented 60% VAT. In 2008, they collected more than $2 billion in taxes, brother.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, this thing about Afro-Guyanese, the coalition did nothing tangible. Not even a tangible or not even a financial instrument, whether it's through a loan, a grant, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Or giving them the physical access to the product. I mean, the government bring it in and they give them wherever. They didn't even set aside $15 billion. If Afro-Guyanese benefit $15 billion for the 2015 budget, Mr. Jones, I want you to highlight it on this program as we fact-checking and fact-based, right?
Right.
I want you to highlight it. In 2017, you remember when they started off with a nice bonus in 2015? And then it started to go down, 25,000 in 2015, 16. You know what they said in 2017? It is unsustainable. I know what the word unsustainable means, and I know what I'm absolutely sure, as an intellectual as you be, you fully understand the meaning of the word unsustainable. Right? They so love the increased tuition fee at the university by 35%, not even 5% or 10%, 35%. Right? They so love Afro-Guyanese. The government had the audacity to say to young people, their responsibility is not to create jobs. You have to go on fry leg plant and chip and cook up rice. Now you can tell me, I spend, let me say the tuition fee for your son or daughter at the university in 2014, right? Let's say it costs you $2 million in 1 year. So imagine what a 5% increase had looked like in 2015. No, just imagine, all right? Hey, brother?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
You don't think that is 35% more burden on the parent of that child?
Yeah, they didn't care about that.
Eh?
They didn't care about nothing like that.
They took away 10,000 Guyana dollars to each school-age child in 2015, and they had no fiscal space for it. When our revenue collection in 2014 was just 135 billion Guyana dollars. And from that 135 billion dollars, you extract 1.7 billion, because that was the amount then. But they increased their dietary, expensive food, expensive liquor, leisure item. This is what to use, right?
Yeah.
Leisure item. They bless themselves. You know, they had the slogan name, what? A good life, right?
Yeah, a good life for all.
A good life for all. Bedouin. The thing there, they got to work it. There's a euphemism, right? The statement. In hypothetical terms, there's a euphemistic statement, right?
And these people struggle.
Right?
Yeah.
It's either was it a euphemistic or ostensible statement, right? However, they did not find it important to continue that initiative. They replaced this thing with $15, brother. I mean, the exchange rate in 2015 was 206.50. I could recollect that. However, what $15 could do in 2015, Mr. Jones?
Even Chinese.
How much you want them school uniform? Like if you get toddler going to school, how much you want them uniform, Richard?
Yes, but like 3-5 for the pants and the bottom. You couldn't really do.
So what do $15 could do? This is why I want to know. This $15 to pay the seamstress? I don't think so. $15 to buy the cloth? Yeah, possibility exists to get one part of the uniform.
You buy a couple pen and pencil, man.
Pen and pencil.
Weird to school.
Right? So you multiply 1,500 with a mother of 4 children in 2050. Right? Let me do a comparative analysis now. The government raised it to 55,000 a child. And let me look at the birth rate of Afro-Guyanese. So let me say, a young girl get pregnant. I'm not saying it's good for a young Afro-Guyanese girl to get pregnant. But in this specific case, it seems as though Mr. Hines were very much specific and detailed in his attacks, right? In this way, we're not attacking, we're comparing. Or we're making an example. For example, a young Afro-Guyanese teenager get pregnant at 16. Maybe the process or how everything happened, she didn't cater for it, but it happened. Sometimes the young father, he didn't even cater for a little son or daughter. You didn't understand what I mean. Sometimes he got no, you didn't understand, you know? Sometimes he family in a situation too. He trying for that, he try to mother. And he says, wrong, we doing. So I'm thinking, girl now, she ain't got no money. If you understand what I mean.
Yep.
Sometimes your mother is a maid or a yard, no. And there's a process in the family yard thing. Yeah? We're seeing them there.
Man, it's a good thing we're in better hands, Michelle. Anyway, thank you for calling this morning and sharing with me.
Yeah. Enjoy the day. More life and strength and victory in 2025. You know that.
Definitely. All right, Vishal. Yeah, some good points there by Vishal. Now, coming back to the General Secretary's presser yesterday, he also took some time to talk a bit about transparency and corruption claims that have been leveled by, certain quarters. Now, Guyana has been recognized for its significant improvement in Transparency International's latest index, right? The General Secretary also called out the Transparency Institute of Guyana in what it seems to be a bias against the PPP. Now, he also went on to expose Troy Thomas and Martin Gulsaran for whitewashing APNU's corruption in previous reports. Now, he made us aware of $419.5 billion being spent without any parliamentary oversight, right? And you have persons here in this country right now with a legitimate administration that is implementing major and tangible changes in people's lives across the country, infrastructure and all sorts of things. And they level a bunch of allegations against this administration, when every cent that is expended has the approval of the National Assembly. So Mr. Thomas and Mr. Gulsaran are highly hypocritical to look at the splinter as I am saying that there's no government that is completely perfect. And you might have persons within ministries doing their own thing. And again, the General Secretary said yesterday when I think he was speaking to something in relation to GPL, ask the CEO, because the government usually has to face the fire when these agencies aren't functioning. And it's not like Minister Indar is sitting at GPL every day, looking over the day-to-day operations at GPL. No, if you understand where I'm coming from. He is there for policy, direction, and to go based on the information that he receives from these technical people at GPL in relation to what is required to provide sufficient electricity to the Guyanese population. So, as the General Secretary said, pose these questions to the agency heads and have them explain in detail what are the issues, what's causing the problem. You understand? But coming back to this $419.5 billion spent by the APNU without any approval from the National Assembly. How can these people talk about corruption? How can these people talk about mismanagement? How can the people who decided not to follow the rules claiming that they got other persons breaking the rules? Now, mind you, whilst they're making this claim that Others are breaking the rules. They're not providing you with any substantial evidence. Oh Lord. Hello. I'm gonna address this. I'm gonna message you and address this. Right? So I mean, pot telling the kettle about the bottom. What really going on? What really going on? So yesterday, whilst I was streaming the press conference, whilst I was streaming the press conference, I noticed Annette Ferguson on the live. You're talking a bunch of stuff. Jack Dio, tell them about Sue and Greaves and this and she going on. So I said, man, tell me about the bangles them. You understand? You know what Annette Ferguson said to me? That was not illegal. Using public funds. It's in the comment section under the live yesterday with the press conference. Right? And Ferguson said to me that wasn't illegal. So imagine you taking state funds to buy jewelry or through the ministry you're in charge of to buy jewelry and all sorts of things. And with no remorse, right? So the General Secretary went on to talk a little bit about the APNU's electoral rigging and some of the lies that they push out there, right? Now, he highlights the trial against former GCOM officials for the 2020 elections rigging attempt, right? And he expressed a bit of joy that the matter is actually getting on the way. I would really like to see the outcome of this, especially at the magistrates court level, because it was a lot of tomfoolery going on around there. Who's sick and who all sorts of madness. You understand? And the fact that the evidence is there in the public domain, it's in the court, they got witnesses. I would love to see what the ruling is in relation to this attempt at rigging the 2020 elections. Many witnesses, many affidavits, video footage, all sorts of things are there. So I would love to see how their attorneys, Nigel Hughes and the Mook from UG, that's what the UG people said he used to call Darren Wade when he was going there, a Mook, right? Anybody you go to UG there during the time or when Darren was there and you ask them about Darren Wade, all of them have the same phrase. The boy was a Mook. The boy was a Mook. So I am wondering, or I want to see how Nigel Hughes and Darren Wade, who are representing these people, will lay out their defense. Understand? Will lay out their defense. The rigging was glaring because of how technologically advanced we are in this day and age. Persons were able to see it live and direct. Gone are the days where you need a whole TV studio and a whole this and that to bring live information to people as it happens. And there were multiple persons streaming from the Ashman's building. Multiple persons. So Guyanese didn't have to hear about what happened at the Ashman building from a PPP representative or a PPP scrutineer or a PNC scrutineer or an APNU scrutineer or a representative. We saw it with our own eyes. We saw current member of parliament, Dr. Karen Cummins, go to Ashman's building and threaten to take away the accreditation from the overseas observers. And a couple of them had to put their foot down. I want to know, well, what's really going on here? We all saw the closeness between Karen Cummins and Roxanne Myers. We all saw it there. We all saw the shenanigans of Lowenfield getting wheeled down in a chair with a respirator over here and all kind of stupidness, looking like Sanford from Sanford and Sons. He's sitting in the wheelchair already. Elizabeth are coming. You understand me? Theatre Guild. We got, I'm not using Culture Center. Theatre Guild is a smaller stage. And the APNU AFC WPA attempt at ringing the 2020 elections was a small stage production. Right? A small stage, Theatre Guild. We all heard at the COI, and I keep telling people, please, y'all go back and look at them COI videos. Jesus Christ. Y'all go and look at them. It is so disappointing. Morning, Zoe. It is so disappointing that a commissioner of police during an election season would speak to the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission. She details to him her feeling of insecurity and not feeling safe. Mind you, she knows because the police and GCOM got meetings, so they know who's the officer in charge, how much police on location, whatnot. With that knowledge, the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission says, Commissioner, I feel unsafe. And he hangs up the phone and literally does nothing. A substantive commissioner of police does nothing and send no reinforcements, nothing, whatever, left it. Like Quincy does say, left it. You understand? We all saw the video of the GCOM staff or whoever it was sitting in the cars, taking documents out of folders and putting them envelopes and putting them into different words and all sorts of nonsense. We saw Valda Lauren's signature on the GCOM document. She don't work the way doing there. We all saw the bed sheet. We all read in the news and watched the news report when the Chief Justice said, don't use no bed sheet. Don't use no spreadsheet. Use the statements of poll. So I am patiently waiting to see if it is possible that these people will be acquitted and walk away scot-free. Because the amount of evidence that is there, the amount of witnesses, it's a love that it takes this long to get to an actual trial. I thought, based on the information out there, at least by 2022, the whole thing would have wrapped up. You understand? That whole thing would have been wrapped up. But here is what is even stranger. Even stranger. Now, these persons who are before the courts are former GCOM officials and representatives of political parties. The political parties, the persons who are involved in this, those persons were from a political party that is or based on a memorandum of understanding currently in a coalition. They currently operate as a team, despite whatever you hear from the very same person. And that's why this thing's so nasty and incestuous. It's gross. So could you imagine persons from the APNU AFC are currently the APNU AFC coalition, those persons representing that group at that time are before the court for electoral fraud charges. And the lawyer representing the team is the head of the AFC, who most likely will be running for president for the AFC. And they got another idiot, Darren, but we don't really count he. It's Darren. But you understand what I'm trying to show you? Now, Nigel Hughes won't remove yourself and let's get to the bottom of it. Spinning and deflecting like your hair ain't good. And also, Nigel and Aubrey still defending elections fraud. I remember when the PPP was in opposition during 2015 to 2020, at one of the press conferences the General Secretary had, he said, I don't know how, I can't remember how or what brought on the statement, but I do remember him saying, we would have made some mistakes in the past. Right? I remember the whole statement, but he said, speaking about the PPP, we would have made some mistakes in the past. And that spoke volumes to me, because the first step in correcting and rectifying the foolishness that you did or you didn't do is admitting that there is an issue and there's something that needs to be fixed. Aubrey Norton and Nigel Hughes being not so, can't even say not so, because Nigel is the one who come with the fancy numbers when the no confidence motion happened. But I did not, and Aubrey Norton was at the conference center spinning and deflecting during the recount. But these two guys had a golden opportunity to reinvent themselves as the newly elected leaders of both of those parties. The mere fact that you hardly got former ministers of government in your National Assembly representation is to show you how much stupidness they were doing back then. Some of them that y'all bring back too, I'd like, why would you bring back a David Patterson? Why would you bring back a Annette Ferguson? Why would you put back a Cathy Hughes there? Given all the baggage that they fetching. You understand? Why would you put back a Valda Lawrence there? Useless. No purpose. What meaningful contribution Valda Lawrence made to this country? I think she was Minister of Health. Meaningful contribution or major development in the health sector under the tenure of Valda Lawrence. This is the same person that is on video saying we will only give jobs to our people. And these are the same people, or that person and her crew are the same people who will spit from now till never every morning. PPP, friends, family, and favorites. Friends, family, and favorites. When you are the one that is on record as saying, y'all only looking out for your own. You understand? Now, I must say, in relation to this voters listing, why y'all been pushing the 2015 to 2020? You want clean voters list, you should have lobbied for it then. Lobby for it then. You had your incorrectly appointed chairman of GCOM, former Justice Patterson. Retired Justice Patterson. You had your commissioners there. Why y'all didn't clean the voters list in 2015? Take off all them people they want to take off and do all the stupidity they want to do. Why you giving other people your work? And that's my thing. Could you imagine a David Patterson in Parliament talking about road and bridge and tendering and tick? You could believe this guy? David Patterson is beyond bareface. Beyond bareface. As the substantive public infrastructure minister under the Granger administration, David has nothing to show for himself. And it has nothing to show for herself in terms of infrastructure. More so in those Afro-Guyanese communities and the persons in there that they're representing. David Patterson talking about procurement process when with He Harbor Bridge debacle. David Patterson, sir. David Patterson talking about procedure and national tender board and bidding, when y'all pay a man for some skills, 100%, 100, all the money, look, all the money and go. And on to this day, the man in deliver no skills, David. I think he brain cross like he eye, because you can't be thinking straight, brother. You can't. How could you mention these things knowing what you would have been involved in as a former minister of the Grange administration? You got to be smoking something foreign and very, 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 very high. THC content is very high. Gotta be high for you to mention anything in relation to corruption. You, Mr. Bangle. A win is a win. A win is a win. Nonsense. No, the General Secretary went on to talk about Mocha squatters and the AP and UPNC, AFC deception of those persons in there. It is clear that this coalition opposition group misled Mocha squatters. And even now, Aubrey Norton, the leader of the biggest party in the coalition, refuses to take responsibility. You think them people would have go to court if they weren't, what's the right word? Made the Lulu about their chances of winning? You think them people would go to court? How could Aubrey Norton, as a future president of this country, advise squatters to stay where they are in illegality? So are we to think if Aubrey, God forbid, knock on some wood, God forbid, Aubrey Norton is elected, or the coalition, whoever is elected, we could go and squat, we could just go and take land? Aubrey, is that what you're suggesting? Because if the coalition win, God forbid, highly unlikely, that's what people should start doing to y'all. And let me see if y'all gonna remove them, or we're gonna call it ancestral land so that they could stay there. No, the General Secretary reiterated the sentiments of His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali. The government is still willing to assist those affected. So could you imagine? You go and squat. The government of the day say, man, look, we gotta use this land, we gotta have access to this land or whatever it is. You kick up a star, I ain't got no way. You gotta give me 100 million for me, please. $100 million. Mind you, your investment was on land that you did not own. Right? So the government refused to pay. You say you know something, flap you want to pay me, I carry you to court. Government go to court, they lose the case. The squatters lose the case. And that's to show you how mature this PPP government and administration and persons in that party are. I've seen it on a lot of occasions interacting with persons in that party. Whilst you may not share the same view, there is a shared wanting for advancement for everybody that's around. You understand? So after all of that, the government is still willing to work with these persons and assist them. Right? Work with these persons and assist them in getting into legality. I don't know if they're renting or they're there by some family or what they're doing or with the debt. But and I don't want to give them out liberty to say, well, the same option that was available to those persons who are squatting with them is available to them. No, I don't know what help or work with whatever arrangement the government and them will have. But for the government to still say, hey, you mess up, you did wrong and strong, but we can still work with you. Come into house and let me see if we could sort out something. And a wretch like Aubrey Norton, who lead the people of dance, ain't show up one day to show support in the court matter that they had. And again, I'm saying to you, these things are ploys to get people emotional. So they very well knew the illegality of the persons there, because the AP and new AFC, whilst in government, removed several squatters from areas around this country. Broke down the thing, just like what happened at Mocha. And I've shown you videos here where we had Councillor Clayton Hines talking about this is necessary, notice was given, ting. Not even on the scale that is currently happened with those last set of squatters there. Land, house, transp. If you farm, you get a little farming land and you get a little compensation for your structure. Reasonable compensation for your structure. So Aubrey and the team that went to Mocha knew they were illegal and they didn't have any rights there. But they want to play on the emotions of other Afro. Oh God, look, they're breaking down these black people's house. Oh God, look what they're doing to black people. Then, for the few who didn't take the offer, look, they want to play these black people for the place. Look what they're doing, black people. Now they go to court and lose. I stand by the advice I give them, black people. Stupidness. This is an eerie flashback to the AP and UAFC turning their backs on those polling agents in the 2020 elections. Y'all remember when they claimed that the PPP buy out all of their polling agents so that they could be complicit in the PPP rigging the elections? Think about it. The people who come and, like I said, their polling agents, me talking about GCOM staff, I'm talking about persons that the coalition parties selected themselves and submit names to get accreditation to go into these polling stations and look over the coalition's interest. Yeah, just think about it. These are persons who on election day decided that I will come out and represent the PNC, AFC, WPA, JLP, or not JLP, Sharma Party, Justice for All, and whatnot. And the seniors in the party, the persons at the top of the parties, said that those polling agents were paid, or everybody get paid. When I heard that, I was thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, who got so much money? You understand me? Y'all remember they even had a thing where they were saying the PPP pay the justices at the CCJ? I said, look, real money? And aside from the money aspect, how loyal are the people you selecting if all of them who decide to come out and look out for the interests of your party decide to say flop the PNC, AFC, WPA, whoever else. We taking this little freck for the one day. Could you imagine? Now think about this. These polling agents were not confident enough to allow, or according to them, to not take this money and allow the coalition to win, according to them, and for them to benefit from the coalition in government. So the coalition in government, that elections, and their polling agents, instead of waiting for the bigger payment of the party I represent, winning these elections and going into the government and having access to all the government funds, take the small freck from the PPP to turn on the party that they come from. Make it make sense. Make it make sense That means they had no confidence in the party that they was representing. Because clearly, they wasn't doing nothing for them whilst they was in government legitimately. So these people say, you know something? But instead of we help the coalition get back into government, let me take this payment, allegedly. That's what the coalition alleging. That their agents were paid. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, the General Secretary went on to talk about Nigel Hughes and land corruption. And he exposed Hughes' duplicity in land transactions. Now, Nigel Hughes has asked the government to halt certain transactions because it's an election year. And he received 75 acres of land in caretaker mode. The government at the time was authorized to do nothing else. Let me say it again. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nata elsa. Nothing else other than hold elections. Not spend $400+ billion of the Guyanese funds. Not issue 75 acres of land to Nigel Hughes. Right? So, what is the difference here? Is the Irfan Ali administration legitimate? Is it functioning? Has any court or anything put any limitations on the functionality of the Irfan Ali administration? Negative. No. Niet. So how could Nigel, and that's the thing, I keep saying to y'all, some of these people are supposed to be super bright, just come over super, super stupid. You get land after the CCJ rule in a place you yourself might go when you, with whatever legal matters you're looking after to seek reprieve or whatever it is. So you understand more than probably Granger, who's not a lawyer, and some of the PNC people who are not lawyers, the ruling of the CCJ and what the caretaker mode meant. Why don't we hear from Nigel Hughes and all these persons talking about corruption and mismanagement, about the money spent in that time by the APNU AFC administration? You were not authorized to do that. You were authorized to hold elections. Now, the General Secretary also spoke on the underpriced land deals involving Hughes' client. And again, duplicitous. So you attacking the government for selling land or issuing land to persons through a process. And in that process, that person paid more per acre than the deal that you had or the persons you were representing. The persons you were representing at that time. Look, Nigel is trouble. Now, the GS went on to talk about the attacks on free-thinking Afro-Guyanese. Due to the president's address, he didn't have a press conference, so some of these things sort of happened last week, the week before, and things like that. So he spoke to David Hines' racist comments against Afro-Guyanese and denounced and condemned it. And he noted that Norton refused to condemn David Hines' remarks. That is because Aubrey Norton feels the exact same way. Maybe he has more political sense not to say what David Hines says, but in his mind, any Guyanese, my opinion, in his mind, any Guyanese that doesn't support the coalition or a predominantly Afro-Guyanese party is a lickbatty, a soup drinker, a house slave. And those who are of other descents are deemed as slave catchers. And even some Afro-Guyanese are deemed as slave catchers as well. In this country, we are, all of us Guyanese are allowed to choose who we want to support. You understand? Lily Prashad, I did wondering the same thing too, but you know, I ain't too sure what Salima choose on this morning, so I can leave her on her rights. But like I saying, at the end of the day, all of us have the ability to choose the party we want to support, and not because not because our skin colors may look the same, I have to jump on board with you. Foolishness. Now, the GS went on to talk about the cash grant distribution issues, sharing with the public that 545,000 checks were printed and over 200,000 distributed. Now, he also spoke to the government working to fix distribution confusion. And on this note, I want to bring this to your attention here. I swear that sometimes Guyanese, whether here or overseas, this make we look so bad. It's like this make other countries think like we stupid. Now, y'all listen to this clip here. Y'all listen to this ignorance that I about to play for you. Here's stupidity at its best.
Days or think 2 days or the same day ago, you get 3 days to change your check. If you don't change your check in 3 days, it ain't valid no more. You get no $100,000 for gain. Them ain't telling y'all though. Them ain't telling people though. People gotta find out first. That is only 3 days you get for change the scratch grant. And if you don't change it within 3 days, I guess it's not valid anymore.
Listen to this one. Listen to this broad mouth kavakamite. Oh God, look, I swear, I don't understand like how people could sit down on a live and talk certain things. Any check around the world, any check is not valid. There's no bank of Guyana, no bank of Trinidad, bank of USA, Bank of America that has a check that's valid for 3 days. That is completely retarded. You hear me? Nowhere in the world. Nowhere in the world. 3 days. Currently in this country, checks are valid for 6 months. 6 months. And I know that idiot knows that. 6 months. Every place is not 6 months. Some places, 3 months. 3 months. Right? So could you imagine this worries? And you know what I think she's talking about? Indeed, maybe the crash grant that she's talking about, that those checks expire in 3 days. Because I don't know which crash grant she's talking about. The cash grant that the government is sharing. The checks from the Bank of Guyana, valid for 6 months. Look, somebody here from New York saying that checks in New York are valid for 120 days. So could you believe that this worries here?
I think 2 days
this
or
worries here. This worries here could sit on a live and tell sensible people living abroad and in Guyana who using the banking system, everybody get in check. You understand? But for those who may not know, mislead people in such a manner. It has to be the crash grant that she's talking about, but because it's not the government cash grant. It can't be the government cash grant. No. 3 days. Plus, listen to the beginning. It go from 1 to 2 to 3. Listen.
2 days or the same day, you get 3 days to change check. If you change your check in 3 days, it's invalid no more. You get 100,000.
Anyway, let me think. I just can't process these. Mikey the boss, when you said in Barbados it's 3, you mean 3 days or 3 months? Let me be clear, because I see you said 3. So I just want to know, is 3 days or 3 months? Because even there, I highly doubt it's 3 days. This is next level misinformation. That's something the public could easily go and find this out. And just as how Melly Mel has been encouraging persons to boycott certain news agencies, people should boycott her for this misinformation. You understand? You should be boycotted for this misinformation. You damn well know 3 days. Anyway, let me move on. Let me over it, Melly Mel. These people just get me worked up sometimes. Honest to God, the level of stupidity. Now, the General Secretary stated that there is the possibility in the future for a digital cash grant system for easier payments. He went on to talk about, well, US and no, this was a question that was asked. I think it was by news source. Yeah. About US and third-party deportations. He made it clear that Guyana will accept its citizens deported from the USA. You understand? At the end of the day, despite the PNC cause those people to run from this country to look for a better life, they're Guyanese. And because of the advancements being made by this administration, persons are more inclined to come home. So even if it's voluntary or forced, they're Guyanese and they will be accepted. He also made it clear that Guyana or the Guyana government has no agreement to accept any third-party deportees, as in deportees from other countries being sent to Guyana. I don't even know where they get it from. How the US deporting a Grenadian to Guyana? How are you sending somebody, let's say they go in from Cuba, how are you deporting them back to Guyana? Think about it. How are you deporting a Jamaican who probably go illegal, get catch? How is the US deporting him back to Guyana? Is Guyana his homeland? Now, questions were also asked about a meeting the General Secretary had with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on his visit to Guyana. And he made it clear, the PPPs, they're always ready to listen and have discussions with persons who have a deep knowledge base of things around the wider world. Mike Pompeo, as Secretary of State, would have had interactions with countries across this world. You understand? And the PPP and the government of Guyana, the current government of Guyana, will always engage with persons with a wide knowledge base. He even took a little dig. He said, probably this is why you don't really engage with Norton. You ain't got too much knowledge to share. Right? Anyway, guys, I am out of time. I had 3 months, yeah. Mikey the boss, 3 months Barbados. So I don't know the tomfoolery Melissa Atwell is going around telling people. And you know what is even funnier, the people who tell the most lies and go on the worst ain't really that from coming back to this country, you know. Rickford Burke, Melly Mel, Mark Benchcop, them people, poor people governor, them people ain't really got no time with coming back here, you know. Melly Mel, according to what I would have heard, is, I guess, seeking asylum or she get it or whatever it is. Rickford Burke is a U.S. citizen. Right? Poor people governor, I think he's a Canadian. All these people give up their rights in Guyana, pledge allegiance to another country, another government, another administration, or no, not government or administration, pledge allegiance to another country, give up their nationality here. And mind you, I am not knocking anybody who would have had to leave this country and make a life elsewhere. I am just saying that this team have no interest in coming back to Guyana to do anything. Do y'all realize that during the coalition administration, Melly Mel wasn't employed by the government? Rickford Burke ain't get a job with the government. Mark Benchcop ain't get a job with the government. And Sherrod Duncan was fired from his job with the government. And these are the people who are coming to you to play, oh, they're lobbying for Guyana, and oh, they care so much about Guyana. Get away from here with that nonsense. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Y'all have a very safe weekend. Don't forget to check out Sunday from 4 to 5 p.m. The Man Behind His Emotions with Randy Shepard. It's okay to say you're not okay. A program designed to help engage men so that we have more productive, respectful men in our society, and young boys are given the proper guidance they need from male figures so that they are not abusive to women and they don't have low self-esteem and they know how to deal with their emotions and not lashing out when they feel overwhelmed. So check out Randy's program. Also, check out the last episode of Behind the Agenda with myself and Joel. He touches on quite a few topics and, a very interesting program. We'll be back next Wednesday for you guys with the now regularly scheduled programming. Also, guys, don't forget, if you're looking for an audio system, you have any event, graduation, wedding, political rally, look, I even send this flyer to them AFC people and them PNC people. We rent it to anybody, man. You understand? Check us out. Your birthday party, pool party. If you're a DJ and you need a system and you don't want to bring that whole big box and all that other stuff, check us out at Livewire Audio Rentals. The numbers are on the screen. You're secure with iSecure. Check out iSecure Security Services for security at your home or business. Armed and unarmed security, executive close protection, gun spot, cleaning service, fumigation, sanitization services, general construction, and various supplies. iSecure here in Charlestown. You can get them on 609-7559, right? And finally, executive car wash. Guys, go down there. They have really great packages to you. And they got this special coat thing that they put on them, man. It's got the car glistening like they want blind people. But check out Executive Car Wash. They're located at the East Front Road there, and you can get them on our WhatsApp 612-4871 and get your car washed properly. Proper things on top of things, right? Guys, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you for being here with me on the program. And as I usually say before I go, it's all about peace. It's all about love. It's all about one Guyana.
We are a peaceful people, struggle as we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't